Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while, at least not for you. It's probably only been a month since the Nameless mod video. For me, it feels like it's been ages, though, because I've been waiting for this to come out, Kirby Air Riders. Now, you might be wondering why the clips are all in almost exactly 30-second increments. It's because my video capture device doesn't work on Linux, and I refuse to install Windows to actually get it working again. So I've just been relying on holding the share button to get the 30-second clips off the Switch, and they actually look alright, all things considered. I wish it was in 60 frames a second, but you can't win them all, I guess. So you're just going to be seeing all of those times I managed to remember to press the share button while I was actually playing the game. But for now, let's just talk about Kirby Air Riders. So Kirby Air Riders was basically the thing that I always wanted. When people are talking about remakes of games, they're always saying the one thing, that all the games that get remade outside of a select few are games that were already good. In the case of Kirby Air Ride, it was a good game hampered by its execution, and the opportunity to redo that execution is what everybody was looking forward to here. Therefore, this is the sort of game that I really want to see, especially since I really liked Kirby Air Ride. I just felt like it definitely had potential. And yeah, this game turned out fantastically. Kirby Air Riders is the example of the remake slash remaster slash sequel that we all want to see for games that we never felt like got a fair shake. And I absolutely adore it. I've been playing it basically non-stop since it came out on Thursday at midnight, and it's currently Friday afternoon. And when I'm done here, I'm probably going to go straight back to City Trial. So, Kirby Air Riders, really simple racing game. You have analog stick, you have one button. You press that button to drift, and then when you let go, you get a boost based on how long you were drifting for. But it's done in such a different way to most games. The main thing being that you've got a lot of different machines that have a lot of different behaviors. Like, you've got your basic ones which just drift in the air, but then you've got cars like chariots which really stick to the ground, or cars like wheelie bikes which do the same thing. And each individual machine has its own little quirk to it, which helps make the entire field stand out, including all the riders. The riders also have their own unique gimmicks and quirks to them to help them stand out. But funnily enough, despite the fact that everything was incredibly unbalanced in the original Kirby Air Ride, in Kirby Air Riders, it feels really balanced. There might be a couple of machines, I should say, that have just a little bit more of an advantage over the rest. But then again, it also depends on the environment that you're in, whether it be a different city trial stadium, or whether it be a different racetrack or whatnot. Although, you could take pretty much every star into every racetrack, and if you're good enough with it, you can win with it. That seems to be pretty much the long and the short of it, which is fantastic, because this game is utterly chaotic, but not uncontrollable chaotic. There are a bunch of little tweaks that they've put in that really help the game just smooth out the rough edges of the original. The main one being that I love the new Slipstreaming. Now, there was Slipstreaming in the original, but in this one they've tweaked it so that you go really fast if you're trailing behind. So if you are directly behind a player, you go quick. You go like the Dickens, but you have to follow that route exactly, and it really rewards skill with your machine because they all perform differently around straightaways, around corners, around jumps, around everything else like that. So managing to maintain control of your machine in order to be able to catch up to someone really quickly is straight up a skill-based feature. And it makes the races in this game, and hell, some of the city trial stadiums and whatnot, and just city trial in general, it also makes... Oh yeah, and Top Ride, of course, because it's in Top Ride as well. It makes the races really, really close at times. I've got more than a few clips of me just being in front or being just behind, and then managing to follow the slipstream for long enough to snake ahead. And you have to be really careful with how you're handling your slipstream as you go, because if you get in front, you need to keep people off your back. And of course, taking advantage of the rider and machine combination in order to create that feel that you really like is a really important thing. And it makes for really satisfying, really smooth, really enjoyable racing. Game runs at 60 frames per second pretty much all of the time. I didn't notice any drops whenever I was playing this on TV or whenever I was playing this on handheld. Although I don't usually play on screens higher than 1080p, and I don't know if the Switch 2 accounts for that, so I apologize for that in advance. But yeah, basically, pretty much every time I've had to race on the full fat modes, which is to say Air Ride and City Trial, and, you know, sometimes Road Trip, it's been really good. Top Ride, I'm not the biggest fan of, just due to its overall simplicity. I do appreciate that they basically simplified it to make it an easier-to-approach version of the game, but it just really doesn't do anything for me in comparison to the, like, Air Ride and City Trial modes, just due to the lack of complexity in comparison to the main mode, although it's good for learning the basics. What's also good for learning the basics, though? Lessons. But yes, there are 4 different modes in the game, and I just went over Top Ride. Top Ride is not my favourite. I'll probably just try and get like some of the checklist boxes in order to unlock the riders and stuff that are behind it, but other than that, I don't really care. Thankfully, you can play every single mode in this game with AI, so you do not need to go online like I've been doing in order to have fun with this game. Although, very strangely, despite the fact I usually don't like playing online with randoms, I've been having a really good time with Kirby Air Riders online. You can feel it flicker, you know, just due to network lag every now and then occasionally, but for the most part the game holds up, although I would not recommend playing this on Wi-Fi. You've got a couple of walls between you and the router and so on and so forth, right? Get an Ethernet cable. I actually do kind of want to get an Ethernet cable in order to make the online play a bit better, but God, I've already spent enough money on this game. This is the game I bought the Switch 2 for, by the way. Air Ride mode is fantastic because all of the courses they've included, including high-definition remakes of all of the original courses, are absolutely stunning visually. You feel like you're going incredibly fast through them. They're all very different. They all reward different kinds of play, and they are all just enjoyable to the end. And of course, you've got the checklist, which gives you a bunch of different things you can do on each of them. They're all just great. Nothing wrong with Air Ride mode. They include a bunch of fun modes like Swap Relay, which changes the machine every time you go around a lap, although I don't think you can play with that online. I couldn't find a way to do that. And they've also got actual relay mode, where you and 3 other people on a team are racing, and you each take 1 lap. And that's also interesting, again, because using the slipstream and whatnot, you can always catch up, so the races never really felt that, they never really felt that, like, predetermined. It's good stuff, and you can definitely win or lose at the very end still, just because you made that little mistake with your slipstream, or you just really managed to play into that slipstream just right, and it makes it very satisfying to play. There is also Road Trip, which is the game's single-player mode, and I'm really not that big of a fan of Road Trip for a couple of reasons. I mean, I like the idea and concept. You play a different portion of the 3 modes in these little mini-missions, and if you win them by performing their goals, whether it be like racing on half a lap, or doing a very specific thing in the City Trial map or whatnot, you get to move on. You get money to upgrade your car in the same way as City Trial, which we'll get to. You also get just, like, upgrades for winning the actual challenges as well, and then there's bosses, and you need to find all of the machines in order to be able to get the true ending. On the face of it, it's fine. It just takes too long. It kind of outstays its welcome by the fact that you have to go through it twice, at the very least, in order to get all the machines, in order to get the good ending. They let you do New Game Plus, thankfully, so it's not that difficult to figure out what you need to do, but it really does just overstay its welcome, especially if you're trying to play on the harder difficulties like me. Like, on casual difficulty, a challenge might be break 6 boxes. On the 4th difficulty, which you unlock after the first loop, it's smash 30 boxes. It's kind of insane just how much of a difference the difficulties can have. And a bunch of the challenges on Super Hard genuinely feel impossible. Like, I banged my head against one of these challenges for half an hour of trying to beat Rip Roar and Rick, and if you've been paying any attention to this game on the internet whatsoever, you know exactly what that means. It means that they give him that ability, like, constantly, and it's impossible to catch up with him. I was never able to get within 20 meters of him before he hit the finish line. Really frustrating, if I'm being honest, and it makes the game feel like it's not really worth the effort, especially since by the time you get through 2 runs, you'll have gotten most of the checklist boxes, but there's still a couple in there that are just obnoxious more than challenging. The ones being, have all your stats be 27 or higher, which is really difficult because you just need to kind of plan around it throughout the entire run. And then you have ones like in tourney race, which is like, you need to be furthest in front before you hit predetermined checkpoints, otherwise the last place gets eliminated. Yeah, that's really difficult because they ask you to do all of that race by getting into first before the first player crosses the first checkpoint. That seems almost impossible. I have no idea how you're meant to do that, and I thought I was good at this game. So that's a thing. And yeah, the challenges kind of wear themselves out. And I'm just not that big of a fan of it. I got the 140 I needed to unlock Noir DDD, and that's pretty much all I wanted to do with that mode. City Trials, where the whole meat of the game is, and it is fantastic. Being able to run around, grabbing different machines, upgrading your car, and just going like the Dickens and being the most controllable person in the known universe. It's incredibly fun, it's very quick, the bursts of adrenaline are amazing, but even though you've got all of these stats on this car, you are still 100% in control of your actions. Even though you are going so inhumanly fast that you find yourself like crashing into walls all the time, just take a deep breath, relax, control yourself. You'll find ways to fly across the country like no one's business. And even though there's only one map, the map is huge, and the fact that they've got all these dynamic events, random placement of all the stats and whatnot, and all of the fact that the map can actually change between plays, both cosmetically and with like different things that are on the map, it means that the game is going to have a lot of longevity, and those 5-minute bursts of adrenaline are the best, especially when you get to take that quick breather before you see the challenges you have to do. And again, this is an example of why making good ideas that had not great executions into the remakes is what you should do, because this game handled the remake of City Trial beautifully. They added the ability to pick between 4 different challenges, so you can choose based on your knowledge of everybody else and what your car can do, what the best challenge will be, and it's really satisfying to pick something that's not recommended and win because you thought smart. The fact that, again, everything's been balanced so that you never feel like you couldn't have won something. You never feel like that, oh, if that guy didn't... let me try it again. The game doesn't feel unbalanced in any sense, so any loss feels like either A, your fault, or B, someone else just doing better. And I just keep coming back and coming back and coming back for that variety, for that combat in the middle of the city, or just going around trying to get those fancy things. And even with 16 players running around, the connection usually holds up. So, yeah, this game's fantastic. And admittedly, the one thing I've also really liked about it is the introduction of the paddock, which is basically just a server list. They added a server list to a Nintendo game in 2025. Meanwhile, most PC shooters can't do that, and that just makes me enjoy it even more. You'll have to excuse me for that. So, all I've been doing with the online, I haven't even been hopping into ranked because, hell, I haven't been able to find anybody. But I've just been hopping into paddocked and just jumping along with what people decide they want to play. Air Ride, Top Ride, and City Trial. I just jump in, play, have fun, and just unlock checkboxes along the way, and I've been enjoying myself immensely. I spent a lot of money on this console, a lot of money on this game, but man, it's been worth it. It's been absolutely worth it. I have been playing some other Nintendo Switch 2 games, but none of them have really lived up to this. Mario Kart World kind of sucked. DK Bonanza was okay, but I wasn't a massive fan of it. The Kirby game is actually really good. The Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I got the upgraded version. It's great. I played the Wild Hearts S demo. Wasn't great, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I've mainly been playing other Switch games that have been doing slightly better, like MLB The Show. I got the Ace Angler 2nd version. A couple of other things from the Switch back when I owned it. But yeah, Kirby Air Riders is amazing. Buy a Switch, buy this game. It's worth your time. Bye!